was very, very quick, very immediate.
And was it runway modeling or was it magazine?
No, both. Magazines, runways. I was I was doing very well, very quick. It was more like a Cinderella story. It was like the first day I was there, I was already had booked for tons of work. The first job I did ever in Milan was big posters that was hanged all over Italy. So so it was very immediate.
What were your best and worst memories of modeling when you were doing a lot of it?
Okay, so I don't know for like specific moments, but I really like the creativity of this work, and I really like the traveling and the adventure and meeting like great people. I think the best memories are shooting days, not the fashion shows. I was more into shooting, like working with like this with some amazing photographer that I really kind of connected with them and creatively wise, you know, that's like the best memories. So that's like my best memories of like very interesting shooting days. And the worst, so many worst. Very boring hours, very hard, lonely hours. Actually, I quit at the age of 22. So
what made you quit?
I didn't completely quit. I kept on doing it here and there.
Right.
It's not the same when you live in Israel and you just travel here and there. It's not like. What made me was that I realized it was too hard, and I wanna have a more. I don't know if normal is the right word, but more calm life. I want to speak my language. I want to be in my country. I want to be with my people. That is a bit easier for me. I was just.
You were done.
I was done. I was just.
So tell me a little about your talk tonight to the students.
Sure.
After they hear your talk, what are you hoping they walk away with?
Okay, my goal is to make women, especially, but men as well, more confidence with their appearance, which have nothing to do with the beauty ideal. Okay. That you can feel confident or beautiful in whatever shape you have, whatever look you have. You can feel feminine, even if you are masculine, even if you are heavy. That's my goals.
So when someone says, well, really, that's all great, but you're beautiful and you don't have to deal with, being too heavy or having a funny nose or, having whatever bad hair or whatever people get on themselves about. How do you work the magic?
I have this comment very often, and they don't know because everyone, actually, the most beautiful women, they have one of the biggest, or maybe not the biggest, one of the one of the disease even of eating disease or
anorexia.
Yeah, it's not anorexia. It's another
Bulimia
one. No, but it has to do with the obsession of keeping your beauty there. So it's not true. I wake up in the morning. If I wasn't feeling good about myself, I wouldn't look as the way I look. Or I'm 40 now. I have like tons of things that women at 40 have. So if I was at 20, like a very beautiful or marked as very beautiful, could be making a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And the fact that I don't have as much as issues is because I make a lot of work for myself.
Now, did you yourself struggle with body image and eating
Yeah,
yourself? Okay.
That's where I started from. I had an anorexia, not a very radical anorexia, but I didn't eat well for a few years. And that was during my modeling career. So that's where I started from.
And how did you get on the other side of that?
The anorexia? It's a long process, but I just grew up.
Did you start having more confidence in yourself?
Yeah. I think I kind of had more confidence in myself.
I mean, it's hard because you do have to, I mean, there's so much pressure, I guess, to stay
It's
thin.
a lot of pressure.
And
Yeah.
even with everything we know, it's still that way, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you talk about, when you're talking about your eating disorder, so do you talk about the need to kind of control your life a little bit? Like that was maybe what helped, or was it, do you think that the eating disorder was really a result of working in an industry that required you to be so thin?
I think in my story, the industry was one of the reasons, but of course it has to do with my personality too. There are a lot of inner reasons, and there are a lot of the social reasons. So I more put the focus. I put more focus in the social reasons, especially in a lecture. Maybe in a workshop, I work more into inner stuff.
But the boy that they like doesn't like them because they don't feel pretty enough, or they don't feel sexy enough, or whatever it is. I mean, how do you help them find a way to, to be comfortable with themselves and sort of realize their own inner...
It's a long process, and we're not going to finish the whole process in one lecture.
Right.
But I try to first talk to their logic, to explain them, and to show them historical and social how this actually happened, how we aim, and how we trying to be so thin, and how funny it is, and how absurd it is. I try to show them logically how it happens. And then I try to go into more like giving them inspiration of women who feel very sexy, but not because they try to fit in some shapes that are supposed to be beautiful, not because of that, just because they find their own way of being beautiful. I'm not saying don't care about the way you look.
Right.
Yeah, I care about the way you look, because we all care about it. This is the society we live in. So care, do sport, eat healthy, but accept your body the way it is, and don't try to be someone you're not.
Right. Right.
So, and I give a lot of different small tips.
Give me a few.
Okay. I'm not very good in tips because I'm more into long process, but I'll try. Okay. So when you look at the mirror, don't look like don't separate your parts, When we women look at the mirror, a lot of time we look only in our hand, or only on our belly, only on our whatever. Right. And it's like we look at like pieces, and then it doesn't fit because we have this idea of what is the perfect thing, and it's not.
Right.
So I suggest to try to look at the mirror like a whole body, like we're one piece. And it's not happens in one day, but at least we try.
Right. Right.
And I think every woman, when it's a whole body, it has some beauty in it. Because a woman body is a beautiful thing.
So can we reclaim control of our image through our own actions? I mean, I know that's one of the things you talk about.
Yeah, I think we should. I think actually the last 2 years shows that it's possible, because there is some changes in the media the last 2 years. We have like different, we can see different inspiration of women like Lena Dunham or whatever, Beyonce or whatever, women who are confident of the ways they look, and it's changing.
Right. There seems to be a lot of more press on not body shaming people, not making them feel that just because somebody's a big person, it's more on health and not so much weight.
That's the goal. And it's starting from medical research, and it's getting to.
Why do you think? Is it? I assume it's Israeli culture.
Medical is not the right.
I know what you mean.
Psychologist.
I know it's this way in the United States. I assume it's this way in Israel and in other places. But why do you think this obsession with thinness? That was not the way it was in history.
It's a long answer.
Yeah.
You don't want me to answer this question. It's so many reasons. It's so many reasons of why we like this thin idea. let's say, try to find one reason. For example, if you go in the model industry, when it started, the model industry started at 1924, but when it started a little bit more, like, was more models, was in the 40s and the 50s. And actually people who bought the magazine that the model were in were only in the fashion industry. You know, it wasn't open for everyone. And then models had to be very, very thin because the clothes sits the best on a very thin body because it's like a hanger, okay? Let's say the designer make a suit and the suit has the stitch like that. And if the model is very curvy, so you don't see correctly the lines. So that's why they needed a very, very not curvy models.
Right.
But that was fine because it was only for fashion people. So whoever wanted to be a model and was ready, willing to pay the price, it's okay. But why that when it started to be everyone problem is when models started to be heroes and wherever, and everybody buys these magazines.
I know Israel has restrictions that that models not be too thin. Has that changed? I know that when that was like a law. I remember writing about that a couple of years ago.
Right. It's actually there was a law, a Photoshop law that was out there, but nobody really, unfortunately, nobody really takes it seriously. It's not really. I think personally, it's good to have the awareness, but it's not really the solution because the Photoshop. First, nobody takes it seriously. Everybody does what they want. Nobody cares if they have to pay something. If they rather do their catalog, whatever.
So they don't really enforce it too much.
And secondly, the law is problematic because it means that if you're too thin, you're not right, and that's not fair too.
Right.
Because some girls are naturally thin. So if we have now shaming for the thin one, for the skinny one, so we didn't solve anything. So that's the thing that people are talking right now in a lot of places. Even yesterday, I heard about it. That shaming for the skinny is not a solution. We need to have the variety. How to say
variety? Very good.
The variety of beauties. You know, whoever is seen as a thin role model, and whoever is a bit heavier has a heavy role model. We can have everyone. Every person who is talented, who have interesting look or interesting something to say can be there, can be out there.
So if you were queen of the world, the modeling world, what changes then would you make to the modeling industry as it exists today? I mean, would we see regularly models who were not just thin but were heavy also?
I would have many more models with different bodies, different shapes, like Ashley Graham, for example. But I would have more heavier even than she is and thinner than she is, and each model can have, because I know the model industry, I know what models are going through to have a strict body, and I just wish they could have different, even if they are size whatever, 38 and have to go to 34. I don't know the American sizes, but it's like, I don't know, a 10 and they have to be 4 or they have to be 6. So let them be 10, they're beautiful anyway. Why not? I mean, why not to have, why an 18 years old or a 16 years old has to get thinner than the size 10 or 8 or whatever? What's the reason? What's the logic?
Well, from what you say, it might have something to do with the clothes, but why not just shape clothes that
we are smarter than that, we're clever than that, we understand the result of that, so why not, okay, it was in the 50s, but we are in 2017, so things can change.
Absolutely.
With all the fact that women are stronger today and have more opinion, they can, take care of their own rights, so they should take care of that.
Is there any culture that you know of where body types and models are accepted for being, different shapes, different sizes, or is it pretty much the same everywhere?
I think a lot of places are a little bit going forward States, I think, with Ashley Graham and some
Mhm.
other plus size models. And I think in London a little bit, in Israel a little bit,
Yeah.
but nowhere is like a big, it's not there yet.
Well, even the word plus size, I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about what
Exactly.
most women, the majority of women
Right.
are, and then some, you know,
Right.
size-wise, so
Right.
it's like a bad name,
It's
too.
a bad name, everybody says that. So,
Right.
Yeah, I just don't have another name to say it, but it's